The music industry is a complex and ever-evolving landscape where creativity meets commerce and artistry intersects with entrepreneurship. In today's digital age, the business of music making is more dynamic than ever, with new opportunities and challenges arising at every turn. From navigating record deals and publishing agreements to leveraging social media and streaming platforms, success in the music industry requires a deep understanding of both the creative and commercial aspects of the business. Whether you're an artist, manager, label executive, or entrepreneur, staying ahead of the curve means staying informed about the latest trends, technologies, and strategies shaping the music industry. Joining me for more on this, I have Efe Omorogbe, a talent manager. Thank you so much, sir, for joining me today.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right, let's begin with lessons, from your entrepreneurial journey in the music industry.
Oh, it's been fun. It's been crazy. It's my story is really more like a reflection of what the general music industry or entertainment industry for that matter has been over the last, say, 30 years. It's rooted heavily in passion, but there's a necessity for self-expression, and at some point also the necessity to turn all that activity into a commercial gain. And most of it has been a trial and error. We've also had the blessing of having support, from mentors and people who are not just experienced, but also willing to share, willing to lend a guiding hand to younger, people who are coming through the space. So it's been passion, a lot of passion, a lot of hard work, but we have been able to establish some very clear, some very clear results that this thing is viable, this thing can be big, and it can help galvanize the economy. It can help positively engage, millions of young people. And it can create for Nigeria, probably more than anything else, a platform for reinvention, for PR positioning, and for positive, growth.
Right. Talk to us about, the industry trends that you see shaping the future of music business in Nigeria. You talked about your journey, how that there was the learning curve and there was that part where you owned it and, you were able to transition into commerce and all of that. Talk to us about this.
So technology is probably the single biggest element that has made the most profound impact on how the industry has grown over the last couple of years. Technology has affected the way music is created. Technology has affected the way music is consumed. And of course, once you talk about creation and consumption, then in between there's monetization. Technology has enabled, a lot of platforms. This time, say 20 years ago, if someone were to break down the process of making money from music, the options that if you got into the music industry 2 years ago, it will be you'll be totally amazed as how different the dynamics are. So technology has played a huge role, and there are also some degree of growth that we've achieved based on some degree of cultural renaissance. Nigerians have over the years increasingly consumed and appreciated music made by Nigerians, made in Nigeria. The consumption pattern has changed tremendously from what it was a couple of years ago when it was heavily, tilted in the favor of foreign produced content. So all of those dynamics, people are a lot more aware. Parents are a lot more supportive than they were, in time past in terms of encouraging their offspring, their wards to pursuing careers in music and entertainment. I think generally there are a lot more opportunities for monetization of one's talents.
Interesting. I like what you said about technology, how it's changing the dynamics, especially when it comes to monetization and all of that. So do you think music distribution and marketing in Nigeria is still a big deal today, especially with the growth in the digital streaming space? Do we still need to bother about all those, or what percentage do we give to that?
Music stream. So it's like every other thing, even with, say, agriculture, for example. Before you even think of agricultural inputs, before you can design any strategy to engage, in agricultural practice, the key question would be, the market. Who's buying? How do you get to the market? What volume of product is the market, able to accept, to take? So with music, the reason it is primarily business is down to consumption, and consumption has to be consumption that's paid for. If people create music and people access and deploy that product without necessarily paying for it, then of course the creators and the platforms or the labels that support the creation of the content are unable to monetize. And of course, once you can't monetize, if you were to create anything and you're unable to sell it, or you sell, but you don't sell at the right, price, then of course it becomes impossible to continue creating that stuff. So at the heart of all of this development is the fact that there are stronger channels for monetization. We didn't have, streaming was not such a major piece of the pie a few years ago, but year on year, streaming revenues, have grown. There's still some revenue coming in from physical distribution, though it's across the continent, it is pretty small. You probably have the highest percentage of streaming income from, maybe markets like South Africa. From physical, revenues from markets like South Africa and other parts of the world. But streaming is a big deal. Licensing of music for sync purposes and other channels are also pretty important. One of the things that we've not been able to optimize fully is public performance, royalties, revenues from the use of the commercial deployment of music in business spaces. That is, AKA collective management, organizations and all of that. We've not been able to do the most that we should be doing. The kind of figures that we should be making from those avenues are still a mirage. But there's vast improvement. You can track the consumption. You can track the payments. You can track the views. You can track the streams. You can actually see what the numbers are. And you also, more than any other time, we also have data that we can access, data that can help strategic planning, data that can help strategic marketing and promotion, data that can help labels, artists, and their management make important decisions as to what next to do and how to grow the business in such a way that the audience is carried along. The audience is happy with what we're producing, right. And the audience is very willing, to pay for what they're consuming.
Interesting. I like what you said. Now, looking at this, beyond the streaming revenues and all of that, what other avenues do musicians or artists have for making money? I'd like you to highlight some of those things and the ones you think they are lacking. And you've already mentioned one, how that it's difficult to get monies from a particular trend. But talk to us about other things that can be explored.
Okay, so the average musician today, the average artist, once he or she has, blown in local parlance. The average artist is a lot more than just a recording performing artist. The average artist, of course, there's a lot of revenue from live gigs, live performances and appearances, but also it's a big deal these days to do for musicians, for star artists to play a huge role in influencer marketing. A lot of stars are brand ambassadors full-time, or they're involved in brand marketing campaigns, and they get decent sums of revenue from those channels. A lot of artists also monetize their social media platforms in different ways. They create content. These days, it's actually a very thin line between, who's just, a musician or who's an influencer, or who, is a digital content creators. All of those lines are getting, blurrier by the day. And of course, star power can be leveraged for a whole lot of stuff, special appearances, cameo appearances. You'll be surprised the kinds of stuff that fans are willing to pay artists for. People. I've had experiences where diehard fans of a particular artist would prevail on maybe their well-to-do parents, and just to pay this artist just to show up for maybe a dinner hangout or a lunch or something like that, and pay good money, not even to perform, not even to sing. So there are a lot of opportunities available for successful and visible musicians, or artists to make money from.
Well, thank you so much. We're pressed for time and we have to end this conversation here. Efe Omorogbe, Talent Manager, thank you for your time on the show today.
My pleasure always. Thank you.
But that's our offering on Business Edge today. Many thanks for watching. You can follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can also head on to our website. You can download our app from our mobile store, Play Store or App Store. Thank you so much for watching. I am Perpetua Fasame Peter. Bye for now.